All right, fresh week for the stock market, guys, and I'm pumped. Cheers, by the way. I appreciate you all for tuning in as we have 5 companies, 5 stocks to cover, all of which are reporting earnings this week. And I also want to go over the overall stock market. We'll break down where my head's at, what I'm looking to do right now this week. But first, guys, come on, hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe. Join the Patreon if you want to keep up with what I'm doing in my real portfolio. I post updates every single week. We're putting in money every Monday, $500 every Monday, and we're investing, guys. So if you want to see how I'm building my portfolio, all of that is on Patreon down below. And enough of that. With that being said, guys, cheers. Take a sip of your coffee. You're going to need it for this video, and let's dive into it. So look, we're coming off of a very hot week for stocks. We all know that, right? Pretty much every index in the US market, I think actually every index literally hit all-time highs last week. Let me double check that. Yeah, the S&P did, QQQ did. I know for sure the Dow did. Yeah, the Dow hit all-time highs on Friday, right before close actually, and the Russell did as well on Friday. So we're coming off of a very hot week for stocks where all-time highs were hit across the board. We got a 25 basis point rate cut, which caused a bit of volatility on Wednesday. You guys remember that, but ultimately it sent stocks higher. So keep in mind, that is where, that's where we're at in the grand scheme of things. We're at all-time highs. The charts are a little overbought. Got to keep it real. They are a little overbought on the 4-hour time frame here on SPY and on QQQ, but that doesn't necessarily mean we can't go higher, right? Because we can. The reality is we can go higher, and QQQ is actually a little more overbought than SPY, so you could argue SPY has more upside to come if I pull this up. I mean, SPY, I'm pretty sure QQQ hit all-time highs Friday. SPY hit them on Thursday. So you guys can see Thursday, we hit highs on SPY, cooled down a bit, and then on Friday, we started popping up again. So maybe SPY actually goes for that 665 number again, whether it's tomorrow, Tuesday. But this looks pretty bullish overall. I mean, they all look bullish. But this looks like it wants to take out the highs or test them as of now, whether it's tomorrow, Wednesday. But yeah, you guys get the point, all-time highs across the board. And with that being said, guys, we have to be a little careful here. The VIX is at a super low level, which I've covered before. It's at 14, 15 points. That's super low for the VIX, guys. You got to realize, we might see a spike to 20. I mean, for Pete's sake, we just got one, about 2-3 weeks ago. And September historically is the worst month for stocks, but it hasn't been this go around. So what that leads me to believe, on a side note here, before we dive into these 5 stocks, we might see a little pullback in October, before we get that end of the year rally, because I've been on record saying that I think we're going to explode into the end of the year, into the new year even. I've said that, and I'm still sticking to that, but we're going to need to see a pullback before that end of the year rally. We're just going to have to get it. And it might come either the end of this month of September or early in October. I think it looks like that's kind of where the pullback might come, but it might go up a little more. Like I said, SPY might hit another all-time high before the drawdown, but keep in mind, a drawdown is coming, I think, personally, before the end of the year rally. And I'm not talking about a 1% pullback, maybe a 3 to 5%, 5% being the most I think it's going to pull back. Not even 5%. I take that back. 3, maybe through 4% could be the most it pulls back to. But could SPY pull down to, let's say, 645, 640? Yeah, that's totally in the cards, and that would be a 2.5-3% pullback. So stock number one, guys, before we actually do that, or go to stock number one, I need some coffee, guys. Hit that like button, by the way. Stock number one is Costco. So Costco's always been a company that I love, right? I've never owned the stock. Literally, I've never owned the stock, but I've always wanted to. But it always trades at a premium. But maybe things are going to change here because the stock hasn't hit an all-time high since February. It's actually been downtrending for a good couple of months now. It's still pretty overvalued, I would argue, but it is down 12% from all-time highs. We're in correction territory on Costco right now, guys. And if you pull the charts out a little bit, the chart does not look that great on the 1-year chart, on the 3-year chart even. And if this thing sees a big drawdown, this 3-year chart doesn't look the best, let's be honest. Let's say this comes down to the 700s, 600s even, which I doubt, to be honest. That's where I would start to buy, potentially. Or at least that's where I would start to consider it. But here, man, at these levels, there's no way I'm buying Costco. Again, it's a great company. Amazing economic moat. The business will be here for a long time. I have no doubts. But the price, man, it always trades at a premium. It is hard to get this stock at a good value. But who knows? Maybe we get it soon here. You never know, right? So analysts have Costco doing earnings per share for this quarter, $5.82 versus $5.29 from last year. Not bad, right? And revenue, analysts have them doing $86.14 billion versus 79. I don't know why I did that. $79.7 billion from last year. So Costco, massive company, right? 8% revenue growth, guys. Very good. Very good, in my opinion. But still, not good enough for me to be like, oh, I got to buy the stock hand over fist now. And one thing worth mentioning here is, guys, before we go on to stock number 2, we have a clear descending triangle on Costco. Guys, this is bearish. Very bearish. This is not good on the chart. So we have these clear lower highs being made, right? Lower high, lower high, lower high. You guys see all these lower highs being made into the support at about 930, 925. That's kind of the major support since the middle of April. So guys, if they report bad numbers, which by the way, I forgot to mention the earnings, the day they're on the 25th. So that's on Thursday after the bell. If they report not even bad numbers, but if they're not the best, this triangle plays out, we go under 930, this could slip a lot more. Keep that in mind. I'm glad I caught that triangle. So you guys see here, we could fill the gap down, maybe down 860, 880, 900. That's where this could be going. So keep that in mind. The chart setup right now into earnings is not ideal on Costco. But on Micron, it's looking pretty dang good, isn't it, man? Micron, ticker MU. This stock is up an unbelievable amount since April. We hit a low of $58. Now we're at $162. We hit $170 last week. So at one point we were up 200% off the lows. So Micron at this point, guys, I'll be honest, it's overbought. I'm not chasing this thing. I'm not FOMOing into it here, into earnings. Are you kidding me? There's no way. But if I was already in it, this is one that I would be pumped about. Probably I'd be locking in profits on some of my position, if not a good chunk of it or all of it. But this is one that I would be careful with into earnings. It could go higher, who knows, but it is up a lot. You guys have to realize this stock was at $118 2 weeks ago. Now it's at $162. So it's up a lot. Earnings are in 2 days, on Tuesday after the bell. And look at just how extended we are above the 180 SMA. If earnings are just the slightest disappointing, this could collapse down. Maybe not all the way to 120 or 130, but it could see a decent $15, $20 drop per share, in my opinion. But if earnings are strong, man, who knows? This thing could keep going to new all-time highs, but they're going to have to be very good because the stock is priced to perfection. Analysts have them doing EPS of $2.86 versus $1.18 from last year. So very good EPS growth. And revenue, the estimate is $11.15 billion versus $7.75 billion from last year. Very good growth, guys. 44% year over year expected. So very good. But again, if earnings are, the slightest disappointing, if guidance is the slightest bit off, this could fill the gap down maybe to 130 at the worst, but I don't see it getting that low. Maybe 140, 145 would be more reasonable or more realistic. So that's Micron, ticker MU. Let's see, Accenture is another one, ACN. And by the way, guys, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, if you haven't hit that follow button yet, follow along for more content. I appreciate you all for tuning in as always. So ACN, oof, man, this stock is not looking great. It is down from $400 at the beginning of the year to now almost $230. Well, I guess it is at $230. It is down 40%. So Accenture, there's no way we're going to, debate that this is going to break out. The chart is clearly not showing that. But if we pull out, let's say, this 3-year chart or pull up this max chart, we can see it might have got a little too ahead of itself. Accenture went from 130 to 150 back in 2019, 2020, all the way to 420 in the span of a year or two. This stock got ridiculously hot during that 2020 COVID bubble era, whatever you want to call it. And it's put in a clear triple top. Do you guys see the clear triple top that ACN has put in? 1, 2, 3. Now it's heading down to the 180 SMA on this monthly chart. So honestly, man, anywhere in this range is interesting on ACN, depending on how earnings go, depending on how the stock reacts. Anywhere from 175 to 225, this $50 window is interesting if you're looking at the monthly chart, which clearly shows the 180 SMA support is approaching. So I'm not loving the short-term chart, but keep your eyes on those long-term charts on ACN for things to develop. We'll see if buyers start coming in. Analysts have them doing earnings per share of $2.96 versus $2.66 from last year on revenue of $17.34 billion versus $16.41 billion from last year, up 5.7% year over year. Not bad, guys, not bad. But is that good enough to break it out of the downtrend? We shall see. ACN's reporting earnings on the 25th, Thursday in the morning. At stock number 4, you guys know Autozone, right? AZO. What's that? What's their slogan? It's like, get in the zone, Autozone, or some crap like that. So you guys know Autozone, AZO. This stock has been on an absolute heater. This thing hit $4,400 a share, and I don't know why this stock doesn't do a stock split. It's crazy, but I guess they don't want to. $4,000 a share, $4,400 is what it just hit. Is that an all-time high? It might be. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is, guys. So we hit $4,400. Now we're down to $41. Uptrend looks great. Honestly, the chart looks phenomenal. Looks like we're approaching the 180 SMA support at about $3,950, $4,000 a share. So, guys, this honestly looks like it could be a continuation play if earnings are good. Earnings don't have to be amazing for this thing to break out again or to continue the uptrend. I think earnings just have to be pretty good to sustain this because we've already given back a decent amount of gains. The stock's pulled back about 6% heading into earnings, and sure, it could come down a little more. Maybe another $100 a share, but we'll see. Earnings are on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday in the morning for Autozone, AZO. So if we get a little more downside on Monday, that could be setting us up for a nice continuation play on AZO. And full disclosure, guys, I don't own AZO or any of these stocks for that matter, but I'll keep you guys posted. Of course, all of you that join the Patreon, you guys get access to what I'm doing every week in my portfolio. We put money in there every week, and we're buying stocks, full transparency. That's linked down below, by the way. Shameless plug on Patreon, or go to stocksurfest.com/Patreon. So the last stock is, or wait, I forgot to mention, I didn't mention the numbers for AZO. EPS $50.69 versus $51.58 from last year, on revenue of $6.24 billion versus $6.21 billion, up 0.6% year over year. So guys, not much from AutoZone year over year, but it's not the worst. And again, if their guidance is solid, maybe a continuation play could follow. So last but not least, Carmax, which has also been in a downtrend the entire year pretty much. KMX is the ticker. Analysts have them doing $1.03 EPS versus 85 cents from last year on revenue of $7.03 billion versus $7.01 billion from last year, up a measly 0.2% year over year. So guys, don't expect much revenue growth out of Carmax, out of AZO. You're not going to see it. And both of these are in downtrends. It's not looking good at all. And Carmax might be looking worse. Yeah, oh man, this looks worse on the charts, on the monthly chart than AZO. This looks like we have a head and shoulders completely playing out. The stock's actually breaking under the 180 moving average on the monthly chart, which has held for over a decade on Carmax stock. So yeah, that's not the best sign, technically speaking. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, for the video. Those are 5 stocks to pay attention to for this week. And please do your own research. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. You must do your own research, guys. I don't own any of these stocks. Hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe. And check out the Patreon. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing in my portfolio, be a part of the Discord, that's linked down below, or go to stocksurfest.com/Patreon. That's STASSERFES.com/Patreon. Make sure you guys join. And with that being said, cheers. I'll catch you in the next video.